The desert was silent, the kind of silence that made every heartbeat sound loud. A girl walked slowly through the endless sand. Her name was Elara, and she carried a curse that had destroyed everything she loved. Her clothes were torn, her face was covered in dust, and her eyes carried a heavy sadness. She did not cry, because her tears had already dried long ago. Every step she took felt empty, because she believed her life had no meaning. Elara's curse was simple, yet terrifying. Everything she touched died. It did not matter if it was a flower, a bird, or even a person. The moment her skin touched theirs, life was gone, just like that, in silence, leaving only fear behind. She remembered the first time it happened. She was only a child. She had touched a small kitten she loved, and it fell still in her arms. She screamed and ran to her mother, but when her mother tried to comfort her, even she collapsed. Heart broke forever in that moment. Since then, she had lived alone. Nobody wanted to come near her. They called her a witch, a monster, a curse upon the earth. She hated herself, but she could not escape. Her hands were prisons. Her skin was poison. The sun burned over the desert as she walked. Her lips were dry. Her water was gone. She was close to collapsing when she saw something ahead. At first she thought it was a mirage, but no, it was real. A man stood near the wreck of a ship. The man was strong, with gray hair and sharp eyes. He wore a soldier's uniform and carried weapons. His face looked serious, but not cruel. He looked at her like she was human, not like a monster. Elara froze. Fear rushed through her. She lifted her hand, warning him. "Stay away from me," she shouted. Her voice was weak, but filled with terror. "If you come close, you will die." But the man did not stop. He walked slowly toward her. His boots sank in the sand. His eyes stayed fixed on hers. "I don't care," he said. His voice was calm, almost kind. She stepped back, shaking her head. "No, you don't understand," she cried. "My gift is a curse. Everything I touch dies." Her body trembled. Her hands were shaking in the air, as if they carried fire. The man stopped right in front of her. The desert wind blew between them. His eyes did not show fear, only strength. "Then touch me," he said. He held out his hand to her. Steady and sure. Elara gasped. Her heart pounded so fast, she thought it might break. Nobody had ever dared to say those words. Nobody had ever wanted her touch. She stared at his hand, at his calm face, and she could not understand. "Why?" she whispered. Her voice cracked with confusion. "Why would you say that? Do you want to die?" But the man shook his head. "No," he said. "I want to see if your curse can be broken. Maybe it is not what you think. Maybe it is not a curse at all." Her eyes filled with tears she thought were gone forever. She wanted to believe him, but fear was stronger. "No," she whispered. "You don't know what I've done. You don't know how many lives I've taken. My hands are killers." The man leaned closer. His voice was low, but it carried power. "Maybe your hands can also save. Maybe you are not meant to destroy. Maybe you are meant to change everything." Elara shook her head. She wanted to run, but her legs would not move. She wanted to scream, but her voice was trapped. The desert around them felt like a cage. The heat pressed down on her, and the man's hand looked like the only way out. Her fingers twitched. For the first time, she thought about touching someone not with fear, but with hope. But hope was dangerous. Hope could break her more than death. The man smiled, just a little. "Do you trust me?" he asked. His voice was soft, but it carried the weight of a promise. Elara took a slow breath. Her eyes never left his hand. Her curse was ready. Her fear was alive. The desert held its breath. And then, with trembling fingers, she reached out. The desert was still when her hand touched his. Elara's breath stopped. Her whole body froze, waiting for the curse to strike, waiting for the man to fall lifeless in the sand. But nothing happened. The man's hand was warm and steady. His eyes were calm. He did not fall. He did not even flinch. He only held her hand gently. like it was the most natural thing in the world. Ilara's heart pounded so hard it hurt. Her chest rose and fell in shock. This had never happened before. Every living thing she touched had died, yet this man stood unbroken. She pulled her hand back quickly, staring at him in fear. "How?" she whispered. Her voice cracked with disbelief. "You should be dead." The man looked at her with quiet strength. His face showed no fear. "My name is Kale," he said, "and I am not like others." Ilara's eyes narrowed. She stepped back, her feet sliding in the hot sand. "What are you?" she demanded. Her voice was shaky, but there was anger in it too. Anger that he had touched her curse and survived. Anger that he was different. Kale's gaze shifted to the wreck of the ship behind him. The metal still smoked under the desert sun. "I was created," he said slowly, "not born. My blood is not only human, there is something else inside me, something alien." The word alien struck her like thunder. She had heard stories of beings from the stars. Some said they had destroyed cities. Some said they had given humans forbidden power. But she never thought she would meet someone who carried their blood. "You're lying," she said. Her voice shook. "No one can survive me. No one." Kale stepped closer. His boots crunched softly in the sand. "Then test me again," he said. His hand lifted, open and steady. "If I am lying, then I will fall dead at your feet. If I am telling the truth, then you will know." Ilara's breath trembled. She shook her head. "No, I cannot. I do not want to kill you." Kale's eyes softened. "But you want to know the truth," he said. "And the truth is the only way to end your fear." The desert wind howled. Around them, the wreck behind him groaned as metal shifted. Ilara stared at his hand again. Her mind screamed at her to run, but her heart whispered to stay. With shaking fingers, she touched him once more. Her curse should have killed him. She felt the familiar energy spark under her skin. But again, nothing happened. His hand remained strong, his eyes steady. Tears filled her eyes. She stepped back, pressing her hands to her chest. "How is this possible?" she cried. Her voice cracked with years of fear breaking loose. Kale's voice was calm but heavy. "Because I was made for this," he said. "I was made to face power like yours." Ilara's lips trembled. "Made? What do you mean? Who made you?" Kale looked at the horizon. His face shadowed. "A project," he said slowly. "A secret program. They wanted soldiers who could fight enemies not of this world. They mixed human blood with alien DNA. I am one of their creations." The words sank into her like stones. She felt cold under the burning sun. "So you are not here by chance," she whispered. "You were sent for me." Kale's silence told her everything. His eyes met hers, strong but guilty. Ilara's stomach twisted. Her voice shook with fury. "So it is true. I am nothing but a weapon to them. And you are their tool." Kale stepped closer. His voice dropped low. "I was sent, yes, but not to kill you. I was sent to capture you. They want your curse. They want to turn it into their weapon." Her knees weakened. She almost fell into the sand. She stared at him with wide, broken eyes. "And you brought me into their trap." But Kale shook his head. His voice grew fierce. "No, I betrayed them. I chose to protect you, Ilara. I saw what they planned. I saw what they wanted to do with you. They would chain you, test you, drain you until nothing was left. I could not let that happen." Her breath caught. She wanted to believe him, but trust was a wound that never healed. "Why should I believe you?" she whispered. "Why should I trust anything you say?" Kale's face hardened. His eyes burned with honesty. "Because if I wanted you captured, you would already be in chains," he said. "Because if I wanted you dead, I would never have given you my hand." The desert was silent again. Her heart beat like thunder in her ears. He was right. He could have killed her, tricked her, trapped her. But instead, he stood beside her, risking everything, for a long moment. Neither spoke. The sun blazed. The wreck smoked. The world held its breath. Finally, Kale broke the silence. His voice was steady. They will come for you, Alara. They will not stop. And when they come, you will have to choose. Will you run again, or will you fight? Alara's eyes filled with fear and fire. She had run her whole life, but maybe, just maybe, this time she would not. The desert did not forgive. The heat pressed down like a giant hand. The wind carried whispers of ash and burning metal. Alara stood beside Kale, her chest heavy, her thoughts spinning. His words haunted her. They will come, and in her heart, she knew it was true. Kale's eyes scanned the horizon. His movements were sharp, precise, like a hunter who never rested. His hand hovered near the weapon on his belt. The soldier in him never slept. Alara's throat was dry. Her voice cracked. If they are coming, where do we go? Kale pointed to the smoking wreck behind them. Not here, he said. The wreck sends out signals. It will draw them like blood and water. We need to move now. Fear twisted her stomach. She looked at the endless dunes and broken rocks. Where can we run in this wasteland? She asked. Kale's eyes narrowed. There are safe places, hidden places, but the journey will not be easy. If you stay, you die. If you follow me, you live. Alara hesitated. Her whole life had been running, always fleeing, never fighting. But something in Kale's voice was different. It was not just survival. It was promise. It was strength. Before she could answer, the desert shook. A low hum filled the air. Kale's head snapped up. His eyes went hard. Too late, he whispered. They are here. Alara's heart froze. She turned and saw shadows moving in the sky, small black dots growing larger. Drones. They moved in formation, their wings buzzing like a swarm of insects. Each one carried the mark of the hunters. Kale grabbed her arm. Move, he ordered. His voice cut through her panic. He pulled her into the dunes, their feet sinking into the hot sand. The hum grew louder, the sky filled with machines. Alara stumbled, her legs weak, her lungs burned as they climbed the slope of a dune. Behind them, the drones descended, beams of red light scanning the desert. Searching, hunting. Kale pushed her forward, his voice steady. Keep low. Don't stop. They will find us if you stop. Her body screamed for rest, but fear drove her forward. She felt the air heat as a beam cut across the sand behind them. The ground hissed where the light struck. They know where we are, she gasped. Kale pulled a device from his belt. He slammed it into the sand. A burst of static energy rippled out. The beams bent away. The drone's sensors blurred. For a moment, they were hidden. But Kale's face was grim. It won't last, he said. They will break through. We need shelter. They ran deeper into the desert. The sun burned their backs. The hum of drones followed, relentless. Alara's heart pounded. Her fear rose with every step. But beneath the fear, something else stirred. Power. Her hands tingled. The same deadly energy she had always feared began to wake. She looked down and saw faint lines of light crawling across her skin, like cracks of lightning. No, she whispered. She clenched her fists, trying to push it down. Not now. Kale glanced at her, his voice sharp. Do not fight it. If they find us, you may need it. She shook her head violently. I cannot. I will kill you. Kale's eyes burned. His voice cut through the roar of the drones. Then don't touch me. Touch them. Her breath caught. She stared at him. His words were simple, yet they twisted something inside her. For so long she believed her hands were only for death. But now maybe death could be aimed, directed, unleashed. The ground shook as explosions ripped the sand. The drones fired, beams slicing across the dunes. Kale pulled out his weapon, firing back with sharp bursts. His aim was perfect. 2 drones fell burning into the sand. But more swarmed down. Alara, he shouted. Now, her body trembled. Her heart screamed no, but her hands burned with light. She raised them to the sky. Energy crackled across her skin. The nearest drone swooped down, red light blazing. Alara cried out as the energy leaped from her palms. A wave of power shot upward. The drone froze in the air, its metal skin darkening, cracking, and then with a hiss, it fell dead into the sand. Alara staggered back. Her chest heaved, her eyes wide. "I did it," she whispered. Kale fired at another drone, his voice sharp. "Do it again." The air filled with heat and fire. Alara raised her hands again. The energy obeyed. Arcs of deadly light leaping out. Another drone fell, then another. Her cursor gift was no longer silent. It roared into the sky, but each strike drained her. Her legs weakened, her vision blurred. She felt herself fading. "Kale," she whispered. "I cannot." He grabbed her arm, steadying her. His eyes fierce. "Hold on," he said. "Just a little longer." Together they fought, his bullets and her curse tearing the sky. The desert echoed with fire and thunder, and at last, the drones fell silent. Their smoking remains scattered across the sand. Alara collapsed to her knees, her chest heaving. Sweat poured down her face. Her hands shook. The glow fading, she looked at the destruction, and fear filled her heart. "I killed them," she whispered. Her voice cracked. "I really killed them." Kale knelt beside her, his voice steady. "You saved us." Her eyes snapped to his. "No, you do not understand. I felt it. It was too strong. I could lose control. What if I kill you next?" Kale placed his scarred hand on the sand between them, his voice firm. "Then we learn control. We survive. Alara, this is only the beginning." The desert was quiet again. The wreck lay far behind them, but Alara knew the silence would not last. More would come, always more, and now, for the first time, she feared not only the hunters, but herself. The desert night was colder than Alara expected. The stars stretched across the sky like 1,000 watchful eyes. The wrecked drones lay broken behind them, their smoke carried away by the wind. Alara sat near a small fire Kale had built, her body weak, her hands still trembling with the memory of the power she had unleashed. Kale sat across from her, his face half hidden by the shadows. His eyes glowed faintly in the firelight. Not human, not ordinary. Alara could not look away. She remembered how he had stood against the swarm, how he had trusted her gift when she did not trust herself, and yet the fear would not leave her heart. "You should leave me," she whispered. Her voice was low, broken. "I am too dangerous. I will only kill you in the end." Kale's gaze did not waver. "If I wanted to leave, I would have left before the fight," he said. His tone was calm but firm. "I stayed, because I know you are more than your curse." Alara shook her head, hugging her knees close. "You do not know me," she said. "You don't know the things I have done, the lives I destroyed." Kale leaned forward, the firelight catching the scars on his arms. "And you do not know me?" he replied. "You do not know what they made me do, the missions I carried out, the blood I spilled in their name. I am no less cursed than you." His words struck her deeply. For a moment she saw not a soldier, not a weapon, but another soul carrying chains he never chose. She wanted to believe him, but a voice inside whispered that this could be another trap, another lie. Her eyes narrowed. "How do I know I can trust you?" she asked. "You admit they created you. You admit they sent you. How do I know you are not leading me into their hands?" Kale's jaw tightened. He stood slowly, his tall figure casting a shadow over the fire. "You don't," he said simply. "Trust is not given in words. It is proven in choices." He turned and walked a short distance away, staring into the dark horizon. Alara watched him, torn between fear and the strange pull in her chest. He had risked his life for her. He had fought beside her, and yet doubt clung to her like a second skin. She lowered her gaze to her hands. The faint glow of her curse still shimmered under her skin, like embers waiting to burn. She remembered the moment she had killed the drones, the rush of energy, the way her body had screamed and yet wanted more. It terrified her, but it also tempted her. Kale's voice broke the silence. "They will not stop," he said without turning. "More will come, stronger than drones. They will bring soldiers, machines, things you have never seen. If you stay frozen by fear, you will die. If you choose to fight, You may survive. Alara rose to her feet, anger sparking in her chest. You speak as if I have a choice, she snapped, but I don't. I never had one. My curse chose for me. It killed everyone before you. It destroyed everything. You think I can fight, but I will only kill more. Kale turned then. His eyes burned with a fire that rivaled the stars. You are wrong, he said. His voice thundered even though it was calm. A curse is only a curse if you let it be. You think you are only death, but tonight you proved you can be more. You saved us, Ilara. You saved me. Her lips trembled. The memory of the fight flashed in her mind, her power striking down the machines. Kale alive beside her. He was right. She had saved them, but at what cost? What if next time I lose control? She whispered. Her voice broke. What if I kill you? Kale stepped closer. His shadow mingled with hers in the firelight. Then we learn control, he said. We learn it together. His words shook something inside her, a fragile wall she had built around her heart. But she was afraid to let it break, afraid to let anyone in. Her voice grew sharp, almost desperate. Or maybe this is what you wanted all along. Maybe you want me to unleash it? Maybe you want to take me back to them, to use me. Kale froze. His eyes narrowed, his jaw clenched. For the first time, pain crossed his face. He looked at her not with anger, but with something heavier. If that is what you believe, he said slowly, then kill me now, Ilara gasped. He stepped even closer, his chest nearly touching hers. His voice dropped to a whisper. Touch me again, Ilara. If I am your enemy, if you think I am your jailer, then end me. You can do it with a single breath. Her hands shook violently. Her curse burned under her skin, begging to be unleashed. One touch, and he would fall like all the rest. One touch, and her doubts would be gone. But as she looked into his eyes, she saw no fear, no lies, only truth, only a man ready to die to prove himself. Her chest rose and fell, her breath broke, her tears burned. She lowered her hands, trembling. I cannot, she whispered. Kale's expression softened, for the first time. A faint smile touched his lips. Then maybe, just maybe, you trust me, he said. The desert was silent, the fire crackled. The stars burned above, and in that fragile moment, Ilara realized the most dangerous battle she faced was not against the hunters. It was against her own fear, her own heart. But trust was fragile, and tomorrow, betrayal could still come. The desert stretched endless before them, but Kale did not stop. He led Ilara through broken valleys of stone, across ridges where the sand turned black, through shadows that whispered like ghosts. Ilara followed, her body weary, her heart heavy, with doubt, yet something inside her pushed her forward, a small spark that refused to die. For hours they walked in silence, only the wind spoke, carrying the dry taste of dust and secrets. Finally, Kale slowed his pace. His eyes scanned the cliffs ahead. There, he said. His voice was low, steady. Do you see it? Ilara squinted. At first she saw only rock, endless stone. But then her eyes caught strange lines carved into the cliff face, glowing faintly under the moonlight. Not natural. Not human. Her breath caught. What is this place? She asked. Kale's expression darkened. An old ruin, he said. Older than human memory. Some call it a tomb. Some call it a temple. I call it the truth. They climbed the ridge. The carvings pulsed softly, as if alive, as they entered the shadow of the cliffs. Ilara felt a strange vibration in her bones, like the air itself recognized her. Inside the cliffs was a chamber of stone and light. Symbols glowed across the walls, shapes that seemed to move when she looked at them. The air was heavy, alive. She shivered, her hands tingling. The glow under her skin answered the glow on the walls. Ilara stumbled back, fear flashing in her eyes. What is happening to me? She whispered. Why is this place reacting? Kale watched her, his face unreadable. Because this place was built by those who created your curse, he said, and maybe Those who created me. Her heart froze. She stared at him, disbelief and fear twisting her voice. No, my curse is mine. It is my punishment. It cannot be connected to you. Kale shook his head. His eyes burned with truth. It is bigger than you, Ilara. Bigger than me. You are not cursed by chance. You were chosen. The word slammed into her. Chosen, she repeated bitterly. Chosen to kill everyone I love. Chosen to live in fear. That is no gift. That is torture. Kale stepped closer. His voice was steady, heavy with meaning. Chosen for power. The energy inside you is not random. It is alien, ancient. It was planted in bloodlines long ago. And you are the last to carry it. Ilara's knees weakened. She pressed her hands to her chest. Her heart pounded. No, she whispered. That is not true. It cannot be true. Kale touched the wall. His scarred fingers brushed the glowing symbols. Look, he said. These carvings tell the story. The first bearers were worshipped as gods. But they were feared too. Some tried to use them as weapons. Others tried to destroy them. In the end, they vanished. Until you. Her eyes filled with tears. She shook her head. So I am not human. Kale turned to her sharply. You are human, he said. But you are also more. You carry a gift older than this world. And the reason they hunt you is because they know. If you learn control, if you unlock what is inside you, no army can stop you. Ilara's breath trembled. She remembered the drones falling from the sky, the surge of power in her veins. It terrified her, but now it made sense. Her voice was quiet, broken. Then why me? Why not someone else? Why not anyone but me? Kale's face softened. For the first time his voice carried sorrow. Because fate is cruel, he said. Because power is always given to those who never wanted it. Ilara looked at him, at the scars on his arms, the faint silver glow in his blood. She realized they were both pieces of the same puzzle, both tools of something older and darker than they understood. She whispered, And you, Kale, what is your truth? He turned away, his voice heavy. I was made to hunt beings like you. I was made to serve the ones who fear you. But I broke free, and now I see my purpose is not to hunt you, but to protect you. Her heart twisted. She wanted to believe, but doubt clung like chains. Or maybe your purpose is still the same. She said bitterly, maybe you are only here to lead me into their hands. Kale spun back, his eyes blazing, his voice thundered. If I wanted that, you would already be in their cages. The chamber shook suddenly. A deep rumble echoed through the stone. Dust fell from the ceiling. The glowing symbols flickered. Kale's head snapped up, his voice sharp. They found us. Ilara's breath caught. Shadows filled the entrance. Soldiers in black armor poured inside. Their helmets glowed with red light. Their weapons hummed with deadly energy. Behind them, machines crawled like insects, their metal legs clicking against the stone. Kale drew his weapon. His voice was steel. Stay behind me. But Ilara's hands were already glowing. The walls of the chamber pulsed with her power. The ancient energy inside her answered the call of the ruin. Her fear clashed with fury. She looked at Kale, her eyes burning. No, this time, I will not run. And as the first soldier raised his weapon, the chamber erupted with light. The chamber shook as the soldiers advanced. Red lights cut through the shadows, their boots striking the stone like drums of war. The clicking machines crawled over the walls, their metal eyes glowing, weapons humming with deadly energy. Ilara stood frozen for a heartbeat. Her chest rose and fell in panic. Her hands glowed brighter, the same light as the symbols on the walls. The ruin was alive, and it was alive because of her. Kale moved in front of her, weapon raised, his voice sharp. Stay low. I'll hold them. But Ilara shook her head. Her voice trembled, but her eyes burned. No, I cannot hide anymore. If I run again, I will never stop running. The first soldier fired. A beam of red energy shot across the chamber. Kale blocked it with his arm, his scars glowing silver as the blast deflected into the wall. He roared, firing back with precision. A soldier dropped, smoke rising from his armor. The machines screeched, crawling faster, their legs slicing the stone. Ilara's fear exploded into fury. Her hands flared with light. She raised them high, and the air cracked like thunder. A wave of power surged outward. The nearest machine froze, its metal shell blackening, sparks bursting from its body. It collapsed in a heap, lifeless. The soldiers faltered, but their leader barked orders. More rushed forward, beams of light filling the chamber. Kale spun and fired, his movements sharp, deadly. He was fast, too fast for a normal man. His alien blood made him a storm of steel and fire, but even he could not fight them all. A beam cut across his shoulder, burning deep. He staggered, but did not fall, his jaw clenched, his weapon steady. "Ilara," he shouted. Now, her body shook, her hands burned with power. The chamber itself seemed to answer her. The carvings on the walls glowed brighter. The floor vibrated under her feet. She lifted her arms, and the ruin roared with her. Energy burst from her palms, striking soldiers like lightning. Armor cracked, helmets shattered, machines screamed as their circuits fried. The smell of burning metal filled the air. For the first time, Ilara did not feel only fear. She felt control. She felt power. Her curse was no longer silent. It was alive, and it was hers. But every strike drained her. Her legs weakened. Her breath came ragged. The light in her veins burned hot, too hot. Her vision blurred. The edges of the chamber swayed like water. Kale noticed. His voice thundered. "Hold on, Ilara, just a little longer." But more soldiers poured in. Endless shadows, red beams, lit the chamber like fire. Kale fought with fury. His blade cut through armor. His weapon fired without pause. Yet he too was slowing, his blood dripping onto the stone. The enemy leader stepped forward, his armor black as night, his voice metallic through his mask. "The girl belongs to us," he declared. "Her power will serve the new order." Ilara's heart raced. Her fury ignited. "I belong to no one," she screamed. Her voice echoed through the chamber like thunder. The carvings on the walls blazed with light. The ruin awakened fully. Ancient symbols pulsed. The floor split with glowing cracks. Energy swirled around her, rising like a storm. The soldiers stumbled, shielding their eyes. The machines sparked and fell. Kale turned to her, his eyes wide. "Ilara, stop. You will destroy yourself." But she could not stop. Not now. Power poured through her veins like fire. Her hands lifted higher. The air shattered. A wave of pure energy exploded from her body. The chamber became a storm of light. Soldiers screamed as their armor melted. Machines burst apart. The walls shook, dust falling like rain. The ground cracked open. Kale shielded his face. The force of the blast threw him back. When he looked up, the chamber was filled with silence. The enemy soldiers were gone, their bodies nothing but shadows on the stone. The machines lay in twisted heaps. Smoke rose into the air. The ruin pulsed faintly, then grew still. Ilara stood in the center, her hands glowing faintly. Her body swayed, her eyes wide with shock. She had done it. She had destroyed them all. But her legs gave way. She collapsed to her knees. Her breath came ragged. Her skin burned with heat. Her hands shook violently. Kale rushed to her, dropping to his knees. He grabbed her shoulders, his voice desperate. "Ilara, look at me. Stay with me. Do not give in." Her eyes flickered to his, filled with fear. "I cannot stop it," she whispered. "It is too strong. I feel it growing. I will lose myself." Kale's grip tightened, his face fierce. "Then hold on to me. Do not fight it alone. We will face it together." Tears spilled down her cheeks. Her voice cracked. "What if I kill you?" Kale leaned closer, his eyes blazing. "Then let me die with you. But do not let them win." The chamber fell silent. Again, the battle was over. But inside Ilara, the war had only begun. She had tasted her true power, and it terrified her more than any enemy. And as Kale held her trembling body, both of them knew the fight was far from finished. The ruin was quiet after the storm. The air still glowed faintly. The walls cracked with ancient light. Ilara knelt on the cold stone, her chest rising and falling in ragged breaths. Her power still hummed in her veins, burning like fire that refused to fade. Kale crouched beside her, his hand steady on her shoulders. His voice was firm but soft. "Breathe, Ilara. Control it. Do not let it drown you." Her eyes flickered to his, wide with fear. "It is too much," she whispered. "I feel it growing stronger every second. It is not stopping. It is eating me." Kale shook his head, his scars glowing faintly silver in the dim light. "No, it is not eating you. It is becoming you. You must decide what you are. Will you be its prison, or its master?" The words struck her. They echoed louder than the battle itself. For so long she believed she was cursed. For so long she believed her touch only brought death. But now she had seen something else. Her curse had destroyed, yes, but it had also protected. It had saved. Her hands trembled. She stared at them, still faintly glowing. "All my life, I killed everything I touched," she whispered. "How can I believe I can save anyone?" Kale's eyes locked on hers. "Because you saved me," he said simply. Her heart twisted. Tears filled her eyes. She remembered the swarm of drones, the soldiers, the storm of energy that would have swallowed them both. Yet Kale still lived, still breathed, still held her now, but doubt clung to her. "What if I lose control again?" she asked. Her voice cracked. "What if next time it is you I destroy?" Kale's voice was steady, his gaze unshaken. "Then I choose to risk it," he said, "because I would rather stand by your side and face the fire than live in chains without you." Her breath caught, her chest ached. In his words, she felt something she had not felt in years. Not hope, not trust, but choice. The ruin trembled again. Dust fell from the ceiling. The air grew heavier. They were not safe. The enemy would not give up. Somewhere above, the sound of engines roared faintly. Reinforcements. Kale pulled her to her feet, his grip strong despite his wounds. "We cannot stay here," he said. "They will come again, stronger." This was only the first wave. Ilara swayed, her legs weak, her body still burned with the aftershock of her power. "Then where do we go?" she whispered. Kale's eyes narrowed. His voice was low. "There is one place left, a place even they fear, the core. It is where this power began, and maybe where it can end." Her stomach tightened. The core. The word itself felt heavy, dangerous. She did not understand it, but her bones told her it was real. It was waiting. She swallowed hard. "And if I reach this core?" she asked. "What then?" Kale's face darkened. "Then you choose," he said. "You choose whether to destroy the power, or to claim it. Either way, the world will change." Ilara's breath shook. She looked down at her hands again, glowing softly like living fire. Her whole life, she thought the curse had already chosen for her, but now, for the first time, she realized the truth. The choice had always been hers. The sound of engines grew louder above. Shadows moved at the entrance of the ruin. Soldiers returning, stronger, faster. Their voices echoed through the stone. Kale gripped her hand tightly, his voice fierce. "We run now, Ilara. But remember this, the core will not only test your power, it will test your heart. And when that moment comes, you must decide who you are." Her heart pounded. She met his eyes. She saw no lies, no fear, only truth. The same truth he had shown her when he told her to touch him. The truth that trust was always a choice. Ilara lifted her chin. Her voice trembled but carried fire. "Then I will choose," she said. "Not fear, not chains, not death. I will choose for myself." Kale's lips curved in a faint smile. His grip tightened. "Then we may yet win." The ruin shook as explosions rocked the walls. Soldiers poured into the chamber, their weapons raised. Kale pulled her close, his eyes blazing. "This is not the end," he whispered. "This is only the beginning." Ilara's hands flared with light. The chamber pulsed, the air burned, her cursed gift rose once more, and as they turned to face the storm together, she knew that the greatest battle was not with soldiers or machines, it was with herself, with the choice waiting at the core. Would she become the end of all things, or the beginning of something new? The answer waited in the fire of her hands, and in the beating of her heart.